Well, good morning and welcome to Manor Fisheries down in Kent. Today I'm going to be stalking around the margins trying to catch a few of the bigger carp in here on the float. This lake lends itself to stalking fish in the margins, although it's got a central island where a lot of people actually fish too with boilies, as you can understand. There's loads of small bays, overhanging trees, reed beds, and those carp come right in the margins. And what I'm going to do today is just walk around, bait a couple of spots with a little handful of hemp and some prawns, and drop a little pole float down, hopefully on some bubblers, and hook some of the pristine commons and hopefully a big mirror that reside in here. Being an all-rounder, I don't often carp fish, but when I do, it's often off the surface, zigging, or this is probably what I like doing best. It's just stalking in the margin. It's very visual, it's very exciting. You often see tail patterns, tails coming up, lots of bubbling, and the float's dipping away, and you just got to ignore the little dips. And then when it does something a bit more positive, a nice firm, short, sharp, firm strike, and it's game on. So it's early in the morning. We have got a few people around here, so I'm going to have to work around them. But hopefully, if I bait a few spots, it won't be long before there's signs of fish there, and hopefully we'll catch a fish or two. As you can see, there's loads and loads of overhanging bushes. Most of those have been cut out the water, so it's quite safe underneath. A lot of cover. There has been quite a bit of pressure today from other anglers here, so I'm imagining all the fish to come in close. A big fish has just swelled under this tree. So all I'm going to do is just bait here, and also the bay behind me where another carp's just moved, with some hemp. Now hemp is absolutely fantastic for all fish. Don't want to put too much in, just a couple of little handfuls. And then what I'm going to fish over the top under a small pole float is prawn. It's a combination that has worked so well for me before, caught me loads and loads of fish. So I've never tried it here, a bit of jungle warfare, but it's going to be a bit of fun, so let's see how it goes. So every time you miss a bite on the float on prawn, you kind of cringe because you know it could have been a big fish. But I've just had this one under the trees, under the willow, my third spot. No signs of fish, but the float went and gave me a right old battle. Right old battle under the willow tree. Couldn't get my rod tip up. I don't know how big she is, probably a mid-double, 15 I would say. Immaculate fish down here, Manor Fisheries in Kent. You don't need to put boilies, sit behind rods, go find them in the margins. That's what they are in the middle of the day. Well, let's just run through the tackle I've got. Obviously I've got my mat, which I can sit on. The grass is quite damp. It's coming up into the autumn now. I've got a landing net there, a rod, and what I'm using as a rod is a powerful match rod. I've got just a fixed ball reel loaded with heavy mono. I've got to keep within the rules down here, so it's a bit heavier than I would like. And it keeping everything nice and simple. I've just got a little pole float there, one with quite a big tip. The big tip will withstand little plucks from perch. And then when it goes down a bit more, a firm strike and should set the hook. And all I've done is just cocked it with a single olivet, which I keep quite high up to the float because I don't want that rubbing and spooking the carp. A couple of little number 8 droppers down to what I'm using here is a size 10 hook. I'm not using the big prawns, I'm just baiting up with those. I find their flesh is very difficult to strike out, so I'm using the smaller cold water cooked fresh prawns, and I'm just nicking that on the hook. When you get a bite, it's quite easy to strike through. Make sure you've got your clutch set and a nice cap just to block out the light. Fish number 2 missed. Certainly getting more bites than you would do on a boilie. It will happen. What I'm going to do is just leave this spot, check the other ones, and fish whatever looks most promising. I've just looked down here in my third swim, nothing under the trees over there, and this is just being turned up by carp. Moorhens have caused me a few problems, but loads of bubbles, debris coming up. Right next to the float now. Really is exciting stuff. Well, this is fish number 2. To be perfectly honest, it should have been 6 or 7 today. I've lost a couple just through hook pulls. Bumped a couple, missed a few. The fish disappeared literally for a few hours, and then I just saw a little bit of bubbling on one of my spots, and this little beaut's come along. Probably not quite as big as the one before. 13-14 pound proper chunks. Look how immaculate these fish are. Strange old fight, just like a big cruising, round and round, round and round. Couldn't get her head up, but again another one on the float. Just goes to show, don't sit behind the alarms all day catching nothing. Get the float out, get the prawn out or a bit of luncheon meat, and away you go. Nice double, beautiful fish, fin perfect, absolutely pristine. Not what I wanted. Lovely.